the eating principle that delays aging, and the development of senile dementia based on a discovery awarded the Nobel Prize. In 2016, Japanese scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi received the Nobel Prize for his discovery in the field of cellular autophagy. The research of the Japanese biologist was preceded by the no less talented work of Belgian scientist Christian Dadeuwe, who in 1974 discovered the cells responsible for processing waste. Only Yoshinori Ohsumi's open work on autophagy provided an understanding of the mechanism of cellular rejuvenation and the eating window as a method to combat obesity, senile dementia, diabetes, oncological diseases, and as a possibility to delay the aging process of the body, became a topic of global discussion. Fasting, according to the method of Japanese scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi. In July 2008, Ohsumi organized a conference in Berlin where he shared his own research. The experiment conducted by the scientist was incredibly simple. He used yeast cells for his work. Yoshinori created an artificial fasting regimen for them, where they had critically low glucose levels on Wednesdays. He regularly observed the yeast cells under the microscope, and this is what he saw. The cytoplasm of the cell, on a calorie-restricted diet, has the peculiar property of boiling, forming bubbles. It turned out that the cell begins to digest itself when it experiences a food deficiency. Old and damaged structures are immediately discarded, and in this way, the cell is rejuvenated. However, with continuous fasting, the autophagy process leads to the complete destruction of the cellular structure. Naturally, such an important discovery spurred further research on the autophagy process, especially because the human body, although much more complex, also has the ability to form new cells by utilizing spent particles, damaged components, bacteria, and viruses. The benefits of fasting. The phenomenon of autophagy was discovered in the 1960s, but at that time, its utility wasn't recognized. Thanks to this ability, cells can eliminate toxins and fight infectious agents on their own. According to OSUMI, the key factor for the effective functioning of autophagy is stress, which can be triggered by fasting. Today, scientists around the world are looking to develop medications that will direct the effects of fasting for the treatment of various diseases. Studies have confirmed that self-cleansing brings great benefits to the body. Science explains this phenomenon as follows. Dietary restrictions activate the SIRT1 gene, responsible for longevity and the extension of human lineage in stress situations like fasting. What is an eating window? Based on Yoshinori Ohsumi's discovery, the concept of the eating window was introduced. This is an interval between the first and last meal, opening an hour after breakfast and closing during dinner. Further scientific research has convincingly demonstrated that reducing the usual 12-hour window to 8 hours has a positive effect not only on body shape. In particular, studies by scientists from the Salk Institute in San Diego confirmed that a narrower eating window contributes to increased mental and physical activity, improved sleep, and normalized blood pressure. The studies were conducted on 4 groups of volunteers who received the same amount of food in terms of volume and calories daily, but consumed it in different eating windows, 12, 8, 6, and 4 hours. The best results in the functioning of all organs and systems were recorded in the group that adhered to the narrowest interval. This has a scientific explanation. All processes in the body directly depend on circadian rhythms, the production time of cortisol and melatonin. Cortisol is an early bird, produced at its peak in the morning hours, giving us good appetite and energy. Melatonin is the night owl hormone, and its task is to make us sleepy, slow down all internal processes so that cellular regeneration can take place. The wider the window of feeding is open, the stronger the disruptions in the body's biological rhythms. We sleep when the brain should be working actively, and we stay awake, indulging in treats when we should have already gone to bed, slept, and given the body a rest. In this way, we rush headlong toward premature aging. We understand perfectly that it's impossible to abruptly close the window from 12 hours to 8 or 6 hours because cortisol has another peak release at 7 p.m. This is precisely when we begin to feel a strong sensation of hunger. Nutritionists recommend gradually replacing dinner with low-calorie vegetables and fruits so that the body can get used to it. Over time, the feeling of hunger will lessen, and soon it will disappear completely. Then, you can gradually start reducing the eating window without reducing the calories in the diet, simply by following this recommendation. Breakfast should be the heaviest meal, and throughout the day, don't forget to drink more hot herbal teas, green tea, and water. The ideal eating window looks like this: a hearty breakfast at 8 a.m., a slightly lighter lunch at noon, and dinner at 4 p.m. A doctor's opinion. Undoubtedly, short fasts have a positive effect on health. This is even confirmed by Darwin's theory. However, the increasing popularity of fasting-based diet programs is not based on the magical properties of autophagy. Simply losing weight is an achievement, nothing more. Autophagy is not medicine, nor a cure-all for every problem. Yes, short fasts are beneficial, they can be used, but we shouldn't exaggerate the virtues of this method, because there are even people who fast and exercise a lot, but still don't lose weight. That's why scientists have discovered a purple peel that activates metabolism in a surprising way, tripling calorie burning even while you sleep. Imagine waking up every day feeling lighter, without extreme diets or exhausting workouts. Over 1 million people have already tried this secret. Will you be the next to discover it? Check out the video in the description or the pinned first comment and activate your fat burning up to 3 times faster. To take care of your health, you need to know what to eat. Ellen White and her principles of healthy eating. Most of the diseases that have caused and continue to cause suffering to people are caused by us due to our ignorance of the laws of our bodies. To take care of your health, you must know what to eat, drink, and how to dress. This conclusion was reached by 19th century writer Ellen White. The writer suffered a stroke at a young age. At that time, she was only 28 years old. Just before the attack, her doctor had told her that she looked very sick and, in his opinion, would die soon. Against all medical odds, Ellen White survived. The writer then began researching the relationship between health and diet. The knowledge she gained greatly changed her own diet. Perhaps this was exactly what allowed her to live 60 more years after the stroke she suffered. Let's talk today about the nutritional principles Ellen White followed and the advice she gave to her listeners during her public speeches. Ellen White's first advice: moderation in food. In one of her letters to her brother, Ellen White pointed out that his lifestyle was incorrect, and as a result, his health was severely affected. She believed that the main cause of her brother's health problems was that he ate too much and too frequently. By the way, the writer had 7 siblings, but none of them, except for her sister Marie, lived as long as Ellen did. You're irritable and lose control often. Your movements are jerky, which gives the impression of being an extremely imbalanced person. To improve your health, you need to spend more time outdoors, exercise more, and of course, moderate your food intake, Ellen White advised her brother. In the same letter, she explained why food should be consumed in moderation. The explanation lies in the fact that the stomach can only digest a certain amount of food. Any excess beyond this amount causes stagnation in the body and ultimately discomfort. When our stomach tries to digest too much food, it becomes tired. We also begin to feel weak, mistaking this sensation for hunger, which leads us to eat again, further exhausting the digestive organs, as Ellen White explained. According to Ellen White, overeating can manifest in the body with headaches, apathy, lethargy, and abdominal discomfort, although not always. However, eating excessively every day gradually weakens the functioning of the entire digestive system. This leads to dysfunction in vital body functions, the development of diseases, and human suffering. To avoid overeating and improve digestion, Ellen White advised thoroughly chewing food and adhering to mandatory 5-hour intervals between meals. Ellen White shared her experience of how, after health problems, she switched to a diet of 2 meals a day, completely eliminating chicken and dinner from her diet, while also adding the purple peel of a fruit that tripled her fat loss. If you want to know which one it is, I'll tell you in the description. She also advised her brother to adopt the same meal schedule. If it is impossible to completely give up dinner, it should at least be light, such as consisting of crackers and fruit. In most cases, eating 2 times a day is better than eating 3 times a day. Having dinner late disrupts digestion, and if dinner is eaten later, the food doesn't have enough time to digest before sleeping. As a result, the stomach is deprived of proper rest, sleep becomes restless, and the brain and nervous system do not rest. However, eating 2 meals a day should not become the standard for everyone. Some people feel perfectly fine eating light meals 3 times a day, and if forced to switch to a 2-meal-a-day diet, they will struggle with it. Second advice, product selection. If you care about your health, you should eat simple food. It should also be prepared in the simplest way possible, Ellen White said during her speeches, which were later included in the book Principles of Healthy Diet. Furthermore, at least once a day, you should consume hot food. Ellen White advised against constantly consuming cold food, as the stomach would first have to warm it up before starting to digest it. During this time, the process consumes the vital energy of our body. As a good example of simple and hot food, Ellen White mentioned oatmeal. According to her, the best way to make this porridge is with coarse grains, and instead of milk, use water to cook it. As for the consistency, this dish should be somewhat liquid. Once the porridge cools, you can add a bit of milk. Another simple and hot dish can be made with beans. It can be prepared in various ways, either stewed or boiled with other healthy ingredients. Ellen White, after suffering a stroke, became a vegetarian. She believed that the best products for humans were those that God had determined for us. In the biblical texts, it is stated that the food for humans is every herb that gives seed and every tree that bears fruit. Therefore, the food that the Creator has determined for us consists of grains, nuts, vegetables, and fruits. This is the most useful and nutritious food for us, Ellen White said. This opinion was confirmed by studies involving people over 60 years old. The research results showed that the mortality rate of individuals who consumed minimal or no meat at all was only 30% of the mortality rate of those who were not moderate in their consumption. Meat consumption should not be banned. Instead, we need to educate people's consciousness and give them the opportunity to be enlightened by reason, awakening in them the desire for self-preservation. When giving up meat, caution is necessary. The daily diet should include products that replace meat in their nutritional properties. Eat at least 400 grams of fruits and vegetables per day, in addition to potatoes, and no less than 30 grams per day should come from beans, nuts, and seeds. Ellen White also pointed out that food should not be monotonous, low in calories, or tasteless. Therefore, she recommended adding eggs, cream, and other dairy products to cereals, nuts, vegetables, herbs, and purple peel, the latter of which will accelerate your calorie burning even without exercise, a diet, or any kind of injection, completely natural, provided by Mother Nature. In the description, or the first pinned comment, I've left the video about this wonderful purple peel. And remember, indulgence in food, even if it's healthy, will weaken your body and worsen your physical and mental state. Life is given to us only once, so we should ask ourselves, What do we truly long for? Exquisite delicacies that often fill our tables, or health and vitality? Mind, said Ellen White.